Good evening. My topic tonight, it's about growing up on a small island in the 70s. Let me say a short prayer so that I can let the Lord help me to discuss this subject. I need His presence in my life to discuss this subject this evening. Dear Heavenly Father, this evening I come before you. I'm asking you for your guidance and your protection to be able to open the subject this evening. Help that, Lord, your words will be in my mouth and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight. O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. Thank you, Jesus. Growing up on a small island in the 70s. That's the topic for this evening. Well, I am here just reminiscing about the 70s, and I am happy that I grew up in the 70s in an age when they had no electricity, no refrigeration, no electric stoves, no games, electronic devices, and none of those stuff. We knew how to enjoy life, enjoy the outdoors, enjoy nature, enjoy each other, and we loved family. I am not blaming anyone for what's happening now in this world, because it's not in our power to do so. But I can tell you, our parents had a lot to do with our upbringing. They taught us right from wrong, and they make sure they showed us how to appreciate the little that we had. I remember when going to school, I had 2 pairs of shoes. One for church and one for school. No, when the one for school get worn out, my mom used to replace it. So what I did, I used to use the one that I had prior to the one that she bought to go to school and use the new one to go to church. I had no problems with that. And I had 14 other siblings because my mother had 16 children, and I knew how to share with my siblings. So one day my shoes was a little bigger than my foot. My mother bought it for me, and because my sister feet was a little bigger than mine, she took my shoes. And I decided from there and then that I was going to buy shoes that are just right for my feet, so she would not be able to take them. But that was just the little selfishness in me, and that is expected as growing up as children when you have to share. But I'm saying all of that to let you know that's how we appreciate the little that we had. Now the kids have everything. They have electronic devices, they have refrigeration, they have all the different things that this world offers right now. They have it, and yet still they're still not satisfied. I am trying to say that so that I could let them realize how wonderful and how good they have it. We used to have to go to the gardens and get food to serve everyone. And in the village that I grew up, you did not need to have any money to survive in that village. It's like everyone share with each other. So if my dad had a garden and he had dashins and his neighbor had yams and the other person in the village had green bananas or breadfruit or whatever it was, they used to share with one another. And the fishermen, when they go out fishing, they used to share with the gardeners. Now, the farmers and everybody used to know how to share with each other, and they had no problem doing that because that's how they knew to survive. Those that did not have fishes to eat from the ocean, they used to go in the rivers and get freshwater fishes to eat. So everybody had a way of survival. And this is what I miss. Sometimes I miss it. And you know, I miss that because it made me who I am today. It gave me the strength to be able to survive as a single parent with 2 children. I knew how to accept what I had and try to live the best way I knew how. When we have hurricanes and we have no electricity to do the laundry because we do not have the power to turn on the washing machines and the dryers, I have no problem with that because I knew in the past when I was a child, I used to have to go to the river with my basins of clothes on my head to do my laundry. And we had stones in the river, and that used to be our washboards. We used to take the clothes when we wash by hands. We take the clothes, we soap them, and those that we cannot rub because they were too difficult to rub for your hands because they're too soft, you used to roll them on a big stone, and then you beat them. Sometimes you beat them, and then you use a scrubbing brush and you scrub the collar where you cut your hands. You know, it's like too hard for your hands. You used to take the scrubbing brush and you scrub the collar of the shirt. Now, this is what I knew. And when you had whites, we didn't know anything about Clorox or bleach. We used to wash the clothes, put enough soap in it, and spread them on big stones so the sun could bleach them. And when you are finished doing that, you used to use something they call blue. It's like a square little block stuff. You put it in a piece of cloth or even in a sock, and you used to tie it up and then put a basin full of water and wet that blue, and you squeeze it and dilute it in there until it turns blue enough. But you would think it was going to stain the whites. No, it wouldn't stain the whites. It used to turn the whites whiter. Not even bleach could have turned the whites as bright as that blue did. The older folks knew exactly how to survive, and they taught us that. And this is what I try to teach my kids. Now today I can tell you, some of us parents, we have forgotten the good old days, and we raise our children in this modern age and never taught them what our parents taught us in the past. So that's why children do not know how to appreciate things, and they do not know how to survive in this modern age. We never knew anything about guns. We never knew, and they had, like, people used to fight, fist fight. They had other ways of fighting, and they quarrel and do stuff like that, but nobody had guns to use it to defend themselves or to commit crimes that would land them in prison. They would find other ways to deal with their situations. None of the young people would try to harm their friends that they trusted, their trusted friends, because they were raised to love each other, not as we are seeing right now. So my advice to us parents, we should try to teach our children right from wrong from a tender age. That would really help, the way we were raised and we were taught by our parents. I spoke to a lady the other day and she had me laughing. She reminded me of the good old days when they had the outdoors. Some people call them the pit toilets. And she said when she used to have to go in there, and especially when it rained and then it get filled up with water, she said she had to, when she went to do her number 2, she used to have to go sit and jump quickly because she said she was afraid that the water splashed up. And these are the things she said she remembered. But even if you did not have the fine things in life, but you always remember the good old days because of the family members, the love that was in the village when everyone the village raised the kids, and things used to be so good. You know, I remembered when we never knew about the spray cans with the starch. The older folks used to get like cassava, and they grated the cassava and took the starch from that cassava, and they would dip their madras skirt, especially when they have to do quadrille. They used to dip that in the starch. They did not wring it, they lift it with all the water, and they would hang it in the sun to dry, so that would like drip dry. And then when they're ready to iron, they did not have electric irons. They had a thing they call a goose. That goose, you put like charcoal in there. And the thing that was so amazing, that charcoal never messed the clothes, or it never even spill and fall on the clothes to burn them. They were just so careful. It's just amazing to remember those things, and how we never knew nothing better, because we never knew about things that are existing now because we had no experience of it. So we never thought we were missing anything, the fine things in life. No, we never knew that because we appreciated what we had. It's so amazing because we appreciated what we had because we never knew no better. We never experienced anything different like what the other rich folks had, I guess, in other countries, because we just thought that was the way of life. That's why we appreciated all the little that our parents had. And everyone in the village, they had the same. No one had more than the other because we were taught to share with each other. And now we have just changed completely. We are selfish, we are greedy, and we do not know how to share. Even with our own siblings, we do not appreciate them. We do not love them enough to share with them. And especially if you have to go on vacation and you call a friend or a family member, even people you grew up with, your friends, and tell them that you're coming on vacation, they will start making excuses because they do not want you to come to visit them, thinking that you are going to stay with them. They do not even have time to listen to know that you are not going to be living with them, but you will be in their area or in the state or city wherever they are, but you just want to see them to say hello. They are so selfish. They do not even appreciate the fact that you are spending your money to come to another country and to just show them a little bit of love and reminisce about the good old days because of selfishness, greed, and lack of love. So this is one of the things that bothers me. It hurts me because I still have that love in me that was instilled in me from my parents, my grandparents, and my forefathers. So I am just trying to say all of this so that I can let the people that grew up in the 70s, the 50s, the 60s to remember those things and try to see if they could have that in them to love and to give the love that their parents taught them. It is still in you because that just wouldn't go away. because they said, the Bible says, train up a child in the way they should go, and when they are old, they will not depart. So that's why I will not depart, because I was trained that way. I hope that this message is going to go out there to those of us that grew up in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and even the summer people in the 80s, that will remember the good old days when we grew up with not the fine things in life, but we were happy and we had love one for another. Have a good evening. God bless, and let the love flow.